Welcome, it's great to have you here. Today we have a cleaner duel, specifically comparing two methods, advantages and disadvantages. If we have sealant on the vehicle, residues, wax, spray sealant or whatever, it can certainly be cleaned off again before the next major treatment. There are various options for this. Of course, you can also work without chemicals and without this special cleaner by simply polishing the entire surface again. But in this case, you should quickly do it at the self-service box, essentially breaking everything down again and performing a really nice intensive cleaning. And I have brought two variants with me. You both know the variants, but I wanted to see both in comparison. Here we have Stjärnagloss First Andreas, his favorite pre-cleaner, ready to use, really strongly alkaline, it really packs a punch. And on the other side, we will take the Dr.Wack Intensive Cleaner and do it this way. One side is now cleaned only chemically and then pressure washed, while on the other side you have mechanical support through a pad using the ingredients in Dr.Wack's Intensive Cleaner. It will definitely be exciting to compare the two. First, let's take a look at the condition beforehand. Yes, these are our sealant residues, and they are not just residues. You can already see here that there is still a really good amount of sealant on. And now let's do it this way. We will go over here with the Stjärnagloss First Andreas on one side, and now we will focus only on this area. Spray it on, and it needs to sit for a bit, leaving the middle free. I'll make sure that the wind doesn't spray or blow anything over here. So now here is the pure chemical weapon, and on the other side we will take an applicator block and I will set the camera up on the tripod. So let's take the intensive cleaner, a little residual moisture from the vehicle. Well, the vehicle shouldn't be heavily soiled. To avoid rubbing dirt over the paint, that's the first difference. With the Stjärnagloss First Andreas, you simply spray it on and let it take effect. The chemicals penetrate through any remaining dirt and the sealant residues from 2001. And here with the Dr.Wack Intensive Cleaner, I would not, for example, use the applicator on a heavily soiled vehicle. You can also put it in wash mitts, but I prefer this applicator method, so I'm just going to wipe this area down nicely. And that only works for me with my tactic, only with a pre-cleaned surface. So, as you can see in this time, this is the first difference in handling. Here, you are a bit faster. You just spray it on, let it sit, and everything is good. Here, you have a bit more work to do. These are the small, subtle differences. That's why I wanted to make this video for you. We'll wait another minute and a half. And then we'll spray the Stjärnagloss First down here as well, and see how it looks in terms of the difference. In the middle section of our sample, we have an untreated area. Here, you can clearly observe a portion of the sealant that remains visible. Interestingly, a part of it has even managed to survive the conditions. Now, let's take a closer look at the other side to see how it compares and what differences we can notice. So that is exactly the difference. On this side, you have everything entirely and thoroughly removed, and here you have areas that haven't been cleaned at all. And for anyone asking out of curiosity, Sebastian, what kind of sealant is on here? Here is Dr.Wack Wheel Detailer. Just look at how resistant it is, even against Stjärnagloss First Andreas, but it stands no chance against Dr.Wack Intensive Cleaner. So here, the differences are clearly presented, and we can now address this again with a second round by simply going over it a second time, and especially treating the area again here because it was still quite active. And now we are at the point where we say time advantage. So at the beginning, you might have a bit more time investment over there. Look, when the mist comes over, the water film breaks immediately. But if you need to retreat this area with the chemical cleaner, then you have the issue that you might need to go over it a second time. And that brings us back to the point of product consumption. which is significantly higher on this side. I'll go over this area up here, again with the applicator, but only the first part up here. 30 centimeters. So, and now it also supports the whole thing mechanically. This is also a tactic that I have already shown you. With this, you have this friction factor included as well. So, I will let this sit for a moment again, and then we will take a closer look at this in detail. Look up there, where we used the applicator, everything is completely gone. And here you can see how the last residues of the sealant are struggling against the highly alkaline cleaner. Just look at that nice water surface up there. Crazy to see, right? And these are exactly the experiments that bring you here to the channel. So, the effectiveness with the applicator and pre-cleaner is, of course, a whole different world. One can draw a clear conclusion, and we will do that now. It is evident. In terms of time factor, if your alkaline pre-cleaner or pre-cleaner manages to remove the sealant residues on the first try, you definitely have a time advantage. But you see here, I had always done a little test with the Dr.Wack rim detailer. It really held up super well against the Stjärnagloss Först. On the contrary, when we apply the cleaners, we can see that with the intensive cleaner, everything works significantly more effectively because we simply have the combination of chemistry and friction. Here, we also have the combination of chemistry and friction at the top. But of course, the question arises about the use of the products. Will you rinse out quite a bit? And we can take a look here at Stjärnagloss Först. So that was completely full. Now we have already taken out quite a bit. We haven't even done the whole car yet, so you definitely need to keep that in mind. I would recommend spraying that on. Once again, we come back to the point that the car must be cleaned beforehand. If you just spray it on, it can be dirty. Okay, but if you want to rub it in with an applicator, as shown here in the test area, it should definitely be pre-cleaned a bit. I don't want to rub over any stubborn crusted insect remains and then onto the paint. That's not something I want to do. Therefore, it's very clear here which tactic works well. It really showed it nicely here, yes, and I thank you for watching, and I just love such tests to compare things like this. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments below. I'm heading back here towards self-service box number 2. Christian is still actively washing here, and we will see each other again shortly in his washing video. And this has worked well. You can decide. Intensive cleaner, and for example, an alkaline pre-cleaner, you can now take the Stjärnagloss Först, shiny garage, citrus pre-wash oil, and whatever else is available. There are different options available. Choose the variant that suits you better in terms of price. Spray the fill quantity. Do you want to work with an applicator? Yes or no? And then you choose what suits you best. But when you consider everything as a complete package, I think you are actually the most effective with the intensive cleaner for such tasks. It only requires a small amount of product. An applicator is needed for this. The car must be at least somewhat clean, and then everything should be removed from the paint, followed by applying something fresh and new, another sealant, whatever is available. Until then, you're Sebastian. See you in the next video. If you have any video requests, just message me on WhatsApp and I'll try to make it happen for you. Bye guys.